Good morning, everyone. We've been hearing a lot of energy talk. Let's get some energy in the room as well. And I know I can't be seen from behind the podium, so I'll try to stand on the side of the podium. I hope this makes it better, that I can be visible and it's not just a ghost voice coming from somewhere else. Sorry for an unconventional beginning, and now let me start with the conventional beginning. A very good morning to everyone. A very good morning to Avinash, respected Sir Avinash, and Rakesh Kumar as well. You've sent us into a complete different world with so much of hydrocarbons and reserves that are there in India, and you've really excited us on all of that. And a very good morning to all of you fellow students. So I consider myself also a student at heart always. So fellow students, it's so nice to see you all on a Saturday morning, and all of you distinguished guests also here on a Saturday morning. Let's try to make this morning worthwhile. I am Titiksha Mukherjee. I'm coming from a company which is a Finnish company called Tieto. So it's a little different name. The name is also Finnish, Tieto. It has the meaning data in the language, in the Finnish language. It means data. And that's what the company is all about. We've been here in the industry, IT industry, for over 50 years. Tieto is a leading Finnish IT company. We have about 15,000 plus employee base across the world. The topic is digital landscape in the oil and gas industry, and I think this is a very, very vast topic. What we're going to do is today's plenary is more about exploration and production challenges in hydrocarbon, and let's talk about the digital landscape more in context with this topic that we have. So, Tieto has been in the oil and gas industry for quite some time. We are one of the leading hydrocarbon management solutions in the oil and gas industry. We have more than 500 different installations across the globe in the space of hydrocarbon management. We also have operation support systems. We will go a little more detail into that. But we've been here in the industry globally for several years, and we are observing certain trends. We've heard a lot about what is happening in the India market. What I can share is what we are seeing in the global market as well. If we see, there's a lot of restructuring happening in the oil and gas industry. There are new players emerging in the markets. Big oil and gas companies are divesting, and smaller companies are coming up. There is a lot of divestment from the oil landscape of the business and acquisitions on the gas landscape of the business, where the oil and gas industry is trying to balance their share of oil and gas. There is, this is bringing a lot of dynamic nature to the industry, which is a new challenge that the technology companies need to address as well. We've heard about a lot of increase in the demand for energy in the coming years. Just in January, beginning of January, there was this Norway-India Business Summit. There were the ministers from both India and Norway sharing their vision of how they see energy going ahead. And yes, the demand for up to 2050 is going to double. We just heard also from Rakesh ji that the demand from 4 billion barrels a day is going to increase to 10 by 2040 already, which is even more than doubling from the Indian context. So there is tremendous demand on energy, and therefore oil and gas is here to stay for sure for some more years. But then there is a new pressure on the industry, and that is to be able to produce in more greener ways. We heard from Equinor a lot of thought leadership in this area, that Equinor is planning for more greener ways of producing oil. So we need to produce more. We need to produce with efficient ways, and of course sustainability is extremely high on the radar. Lastly, we see also a lot of rebranding that the oil and gas industry is doing. Rebranding in terms of they are becoming more generic energy companies. We see renewables coming up, and therefore there is quite a change in that area, which also brings in dynamism in the LNG trade that we see. There is a lot of demand on the LNG side. There's a paradigm shift almost that we are seeing in the industry from a traditional long-term contract kind of dealing with contracts to more short-term and even more spot contracts, which is adding a lot more complexity to the operations within the industry. So these were like just some trends that we are seeing. And what do we think that the oil and gas companies are doing and what we are doing together with them globally? Integrated service approach is one of the big aspects when it comes to addressing these challenges. What we see cloud technology, we and our customers, traditionally we've been in a customer-vendor relation. In the last 3 years, there has been a change in how oil and gas companies and technology companies are working. To have an integrated service approach, it's extremely important that we come close together. We build a digital ecosystem together such that it is not two different aspects. It is a business value that we bring together through this integrated service approach. And digitalization and automation is another very, very important enabler when it comes to that. What our customers are looking at us is not to get a very broad digitalization message from a IT company. What they are looking for is a more concrete, more focused ways of applications of digitalization and automation that can actually address their immediate needs and immediate challenges. Challenges such as well automation testing, challenges such as being able to do predictive maintenance, challenges such as we just now spoke a lot about EOR, we heard about EOR. So a lot of optimization from already the several investments that have been done. There are many situations which we have been discussing with our customers where there is fragmented implementation of digitization. Individual disciplines within the entire value chain of oil and gas industry have been digitizing their data, their operations. There is a lot of IoT, so there's a lot of data that has been created already. But now is the time to digitalize this, which is taking the next step. And we are building processes, we are connecting the dots across the multiple disciplines to make this data together, to collate the data, to correlate the data, which will give a more end-to-end business process. So just to cite an example, last year we worked with one of the multinational companies. They had this problem about data being in different silos. We worked together with them, and there were about a team of 20 people who were working in different parts of their departments, all part of one particular business workflow. And we, after our solution together with them, have reduced the team to a 2-people team from a 20-people team. This is the kind of benefit digitalization and automation can bring into the space where we are talking of optimization, cost reduction, and doing more with what we already have. Of course, data, oil and gas companies have a lot of data. You have a wealth of data, we can say. And we in the IT industry, we also say data is the new oil. And how are we in the technology world trying to address this then? Like I said, we have been seeing a change in the way we are working together with the oil and gas companies worldwide. We are not in a customer-vendor relationship. We are in a partnership model together with them. We are working together with them. We used to interact with the IT departments of the oil and gas companies before. And they were the ones procuring software and making the decisions of what software should be taken in which department. Now it is not the case. We are working with the business teams in our oil and gas fellow companies. So it is more getting closer to the business. It's IT and business are sitting together. Technology and business units are working together to create an end-to-end process. Um, 2 years back, we were talking to one of our multinational companies from America. And we brought to them our solution on cloud. And we said we are bringing our product hydrocarbon management onto cloud. And we talked about a public cloud. And it was a big no. The company was absolutely not even ready to hear about anything about taking their product or taking their data into public cloud, not secure. This year, our top management had a meeting with them, and they have already made a decision that they will move all of their operations in public cloud. That is the speed with which technology is pushing the oil and gas industry today towards adapting to the changing scenario. Security is going to be topmost in the coming years with data going into cloud. Security is going to be extremely crucial. It is not just about the confidentiality of data, but it is about the availability and the integrity of the systems. This is going to be very, very crucial in the coming years, and that's what technology companies are investing in. Machine learning, of course, like we said, you have a wealth of data, and now it is becoming more affordable to bring machine learning into actual action. We have at our disposal much more computing power and storage power at much lesser cost, making machine learning, churning the algorithms, applying AI, and enabling decision making within the companies, making it much more integrated within the business workflow as well in the context of the activity and not as a back office function. So a lot of decision support is coming and becoming mainstream part of the actual day-to-day activities in the context of the activity with wearables and mobile devices and all of these technology that we have at our disposal at every point in time. Of course, blockchain should be mentioned. That is something which is coming up in the technology. We don't see yet too much of work being done in the oil and gas industry on this front. The financial industry is very much adapting to the blockchain right now. And definitely in terms of financial reconciliation across different partners, in terms of smart contracting when it comes to transportation or whether it comes to even long-term contracts that we have. These are the spaces where blockchain is very much relevant. Also interestingly, in the identity and certification space, blockchain is quite relevant. It takes almost 45 days today to certify and to prove that the labor that is working at a rig or at a well is a proper, in order, certified, following all standards kind of information. And this, once we have blockchain in place, this wouldn't take that long to really prove, because this will be all a matter of a minute. So we've seen the trends in the industry in terms of business changing. We see trend in the industry in terms of technology coming up. And what are we as a technology company doing today to address these changes? So we are coming out with a dual agenda. One, in the space of the product that we are delivering to our customer. It's not just a product, it's a solution, it's an application, enterprise-wide application almost. Working very closely with the business teams in the oil and gas companies, bringing decision support into the mainstream, into the day-to-day operations, doing analytics, being able to give a lot of optimization as well from the data that already exists, give a lot of what-if scenarios. I think what is missing today in the oil and gas ways of working is, what happens if I change the pressure of the well here? Or what if I inject extra fluid into the well? So all of these what-if scenarios are extremely important without actually doing it. If we can simulate those models and give them the results of the impact of what is done, that helps the industry a lot. And we have built several models in terms of virtual models. We talk of virtual machines, and we also have virtual models which help these engineers to figure out the impact of different changes, parameters that if they change, how can they enhance the production as well. So that's on the business side. And on the technology side as well, we are, like I said, we are getting into the cloud. We are offering cloud-based solutions to our customers. To start with, it is a hybrid solution, but going ahead, we see that more and more pan software vendors, cloud solutions are going to be here to stay, even within the oil and gas industry. It is important, one of the things is when we are talking about automation, when we are talking of digitalization, best practices become very, very important. And I think technology companies can definitely play a big role in giving the possibilities to standardize processes, to take away the person dependency. There is still a lot of person dependency today in order to make decisions. So if we can bring in this decision support, we will be able to take away this person dependency within the operation. So as said, we have been in the hydrocarbon management space. Tieto has two different offerings in niche areas, I would say, or niche segments within the oil and gas industry. One of the segment is the hydrocarbon management, where we have an offering which is following the hydrocarbon from the point of time that it is explored, so from the wellhead to the first point of sale. We follow the hydrocarbon everywhere. We are tracking for every hydrocarbon that has been produced, every hydrocarbon that is lost, every hydrocarbon that has been sold. Every of this hydrocarbon's journey, lifetime, is what our software is tracking. Apart from just accounting for all of these hydrocarbons, what we are also doing is managing them, is how we can make it more optimal to produce more for the oil and gas companies. It's not just in the production space, we are also in the transportation space. And we are doing optimization of our transport part of the operations for the industry. Transport in terms of both, in terms of cargo as well as in terms of pipeline transportation. The other space is in the operation support space. This is an interesting solution that we have. You can try going to one of the websites. It's a Norwegian portal, heliport.no. And that is the most visited website in Norway. It gives you at every point in time, where is the helicopter right now. This talks about all the helicopter traffic from onshore to offshore and back. And our software is taking care of these logistics as well. Last year, we almost kind of made history with one of our American multinational companies. We have brought their hydrocarbon management system into public cloud. Tieto is the provider for this. We are ourselves having the product as well as the service. So we are delivering full stack end-to-end service to our customers in the cloud space. And we have been able to bring down their total cost of ownership, and also we have been able to give them the possibility to focus more in their core area of business rather than focusing on the IT aspects of the business. And lastly, we heard a lot about the requirement from the Indian context as well, the need to be able to produce more from what we already have invested in. And we have many success stories. I'm just sharing one of the success stories with one of the Brazilian multinational oil company, where we had about more than 50 wells, more than 150 different parameters that we had to work with. And we have been able to bring in optimization into this space. By optimizing, we have achieved 5% increase in production on a daily basis for this company. This optimization is something which we have built as a framework. It is an algorithm. It is something which you can apply either in the production space, or we can even apply it into the LNG space, where there is a lot of complex planning and scenario planning and what if scenarios to be done in the LNG space as well. So we have both this optimization that can be applied in any of these spaces. It's a technology, and you can define your parameters, you can define your constraints, and you can apply it. What's important is to actually follow the whole chain, from the reservoir models to the well models to the transportation models, and being able to identify how changes in your production has a impact on your transportation, and how your storage can impact your production. All of this end-to-end understanding is extremely important, and that's where I think technology companies really can make a lot more difference in this digitalization journey for the oil and gas companies. A slide that we all are proud of from Tieto, this is our worldwide customer base. And we definitely feel that we are a company and a product that is very much worthy of the Indian market as well. And we would soon like to see some Indian logos as well on this slide. So with that, I would like to wish you all a very good day, and thank you so much.